When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and in life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited today to be introducing you to one of my newest business partners here at EXP, Kevin Franklin from Waldorf, Maryland. Thanks for jumping on here with us today, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely, Andre. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You guys are in for a treat to kind of hear Kevin's story. He's a retired Air Force veteran with an impressive 21 years of devoted service. And not every time, but most times I try to thank Kevin for his service. I know that's a big deal. He had a lot of different positions in the service, mostly a big time electrician, but also a mission operations commander. And he's held several positions in his industry, from as a treasurer, president, senior advisor of several base-wide professional organizations, showcasing his commitment to community service. So he's a community service type guy, and that really fits well with our group here at EXP. But he's been in real estate since 2010 as an investor. And he's holding his license in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So you have referrals. You guys looking to buy or sell or doing investing, he can cover those three states. And he became an agent in 2021 with some great companies out there. He was with KW, Berkshire Hathaway. He's hit Rookie of the Year his first year at KW, and he was in the top ranking of 14%. Of Berkshire. So he's a great agent, and we're so happy to have him on our team now at EXP. And the biggest thing, he's a family man, two awesome boys, and he just selfless, passionate, and loves just to help people and see them succeed. And I'm just excited to share your story, Kevin, with our listeners. So thanks again for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, glad to be here, sir. I had a pretty extensive career in the military. I would say best decision I've ever made in my life, and I don't regret one thing about it. I met some amazing people, traveled to some great places, and just learned a lot just through immersion in different countries and just being exposed to so many different things. You don't realize what exposure does for you. And so I've definitely been fortunate enough to just get around and see a lot of different things in life in those 21 years. And, just excited to see what this next chapter of my life brings as a real estate agent. And glad to be here with EXP.
Well, let's kind of share a little bit more of your story, after whatever you want to share. But, what brought you into real estate? Sounds like, you were an investor, obviously, and kind of paint us the picture of your real estate career so far, and let's start there.
Okay, yeah. So I refer to myself as like a mom and pop investor, right? I don't have 30, 40 units. I don't have 50 unit multifamily properties or anything like that. But at this point, I do have 6 investment properties, and I tell people I got into real estate investing by accident. It was simply me and my wife at the time decided, we had a kid, and, we were basically had a seed dropped by a family member that says, hey, you guys should consider buying a home. And so, we were like, I guess, why not? It seems like the right thing to do. So we bought a house, and you just get a different sense of pride when you're a homeowner, right? It's far different than being a renter. And that became our livelihood, just doing projects around the house, gardening, and just knowing that, hey, this is ours. And so by 2 years later, we were relocating to a different state, and the decision had to be made: do we rent or do we buy at this next location? And we decided, hey, I kind of like this home ownership thing, so let's try it again, and let's try to keep what we have and rent it out. And so we did that. And I think maybe 2.5 years after that, we had to relocate again. And you don't know what you don't know. And so going into that third location, we felt like, okay, we don't have the resources or the knowledge to buy a third place. So we decided to rent. But at that next location is when I picked up on the fact that, hey, I've got 2 investment properties, and this was kind of merely by accident, but I think I'm on to something. And so just taking that and the knowledge that I gained through reading, I started reading a lot of real estate books. I would probably say to this day, I've probably read well over 20 real estate books amongst a bunch of others. Just listening to numerous podcasts and YouTube videos, and just kind of understood what I had already built as a foundation, and realized like, okay, that was by accident, but if I took this and got a little bit more intentional about it, what could it be? And then also realizing that, hey, this is really the foundation for some generational wealth. And so on the next move, it was a deliberate choice, and we ended up going to Germany. And at that location, I didn't think that buying a house was an option, but a buddy of mine sent me an article about how to buy a house in Germany using your housing allowance. And it, immediately appealed to me. And a lot of people thought I was crazy, but I bought a house in Germany, and ended up leaving there, coming to DC. And it was a no-brainer. When I get to DC, I'm buying a house. And, maybe a couple years later, I decided, okay, I think it's time to start playing some real life Monopoly. And so I decided to sell a couple of the first 2 houses I bought, and did a 1031 exchange, bought a triplex with one, and then sold the other and bought a fourplex. And, just really all that to say that I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning until I realized what I was doing, and then just becoming more deliberate about it. And, I would say, just thanks to just the things that I had at my disposal. The VA loan, of course, being in the military was a primary factor. But even beyond that, I've grown to learn that you don't need a VA loan at all. You can be FHA, so many different resources, but just getting the foundation started, getting that first house. And it doesn't have to be your retirement home or your house that checks all the boxes. Just getting into home ownership was something that'll suffice. And, it's one of the primary means of building generational wealth. And so that kind of became my way of, like I say, accidentally rolling into becoming a real estate investor.
Well, that's awesome. I learned some things about you. I didn't know about owning the property in Germany and stuff. That's pretty cool. And being a military guy, I'm going to want to have you share this with all of your old past military guys that are probably still in the military, still traveling back and forth and relocating. Man, you have some firsthand knowledge on how you can help them start building, passive income and generational wealth through real estate, doing exactly what you did. So, and obviously any investors out there or people that are thinking about looking to get investing that you're listening, like I said, Kevin's licensed in all 3 states, and DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So he can take care of you. Because of our company and EXP's in all 50 states and in 24 countries, I know we have awesome agents around the country, around the globe actually, that can help as well. So you can reach out to Kevin. His phone number is right there. If you ever thought about investing anywhere, we can get you connected to him or to any of our agents around the country. So thanks for sharing that, Kevin. I think that's going to be really helpful for some people for sure.
Absolutely.
So let's jump into your real estate, the rest of your real estate career. So you started as an investor for yourself, and then say, well, I can maybe, after getting out of the military, do this full time. what company did you go to first, and why, and why did you move to the second, and we'll talk about why you came to EXP, because I know you weren't looking to make a move when I called you. So just kind of share a little bit of your story there.
Yeah, so I'll say for starters, when I got to DC, about a year later, I made the decision that it was time to retire. But I honestly I had no clue what I wanted to do after retirement as far as employment, and so I got to give a shout out to a good buddy of mine, James Newkirk. We've been friends for a very long time, one of my best, and got with him, and he had already gotten licensed down in Southern Virginia. He was still active duty, and he mentioned to me, man, you should consider getting your real estate license, dude. You've got the personality, the charisma, everything that it would take. And he's like, based off what I'm seeing, you would flourish. And I never really considered becoming an agent until I spoke with him. And so he just took me through the day in the life of an agent and talked to me for probably a couple hours. And by the time we got off the phone, I had my mind made up. And I'm looking at, I've by this day, I've purchased 8 houses. And I know that whether it was my first or my 8th, it was the most exciting thing ever. Next to my son's being born, it was probably the most exciting day of my life, right? And so I'm looking at, if I were to become an agent, I now get to be on the other side of that equation, right? I now get to educate people out there and help to coach them towards the purchase of their first property, and help to remove that fear and give them that same excitement that I know it's going to bring. And so it was a no-brainer. Decided to get my license, and so I functioned as an agent and decided to go with Keller Williams. Maybe about a year before I retired in 2021, I retired 2022. And so Keller Williams just kind of stood out from all the due diligence I did as a good starter brokerage. Definitely a good brokerage for longevity, but they were one of the ones that were sought as just one that establishes good foundation, helps you see your career as a business, and they just offered lots of resources, education, and everything you need to get started. And so after about a year, I decided, okay, after 2 years, actually, after 2 years, I decided it was time to just kind of expand my horizon, open up, and be just be open-minded to other brokerages. And so I still hadn't started looking around, but I got a phone call from Berkshire Hathaway. Broker reached out to me. I was pretty impressed with what she'd seen as far as my productivity, and just offered me some things that were so much better than what Keller Williams was offering me at the time. And so that became a no-brainer to switch and move to Berkshire Hathaway. And spent about a year there. Again, I was not looking to switch at all. I was completely happy with Berkshire Hathaway. Everything about it, the office, the management, the broker, everything was just, I couldn't ask for more. But then I had Andre reach out, and it was kind of weird because as an agent, and I know other agents can relate to this, you just get spammed so much. It's almost like it's so frustrating, and you have to dodge phone calls and text messages, emails that are just constantly pouring in from people trying to recruit you or sell you marketing or whatever the case may be. And so I tend to ignore the most of it. I've gotten that pretty good down. But something about your message just kind of enticed me to just say, well, let me just see what he's talking about. I like to stay open-minded. As much as I like to filter things, I have to let some things in because I don't want to let good opportunities pass me by. And so getting on with you, and I think we may have had like probably a 2-hour Zoom session the first time. And I think by the time we got off, I was ready to switch over at that very point in time. And so, I had to dial myself back because I'm very quick to jump into things a little too soon. So I went back and spoke with my broker, and you know, I wouldn't say talked some sense into me, but she just gave me some things to consider and said, you know, just think about X, Y, and Z. And so I went back to the drawing board and said, okay, I'm not dismissing EXP, but I do want to do a little bit more due diligence. And so, you know, obviously you already know, you helped me through that and just showing me more of the resources and what EXP has to offer, put me in front of just countless people. I think you may have put me in front of 10, 12 people. The more the merrier, right? And so I also decided that I wanted to become a broker and start my own brokerage. And so in telling you that, you know, it wasn't okay, Kevin, you don't want to do that. It was more, hey, Kevin, okay, I love the way you're going and the, you know, the thought process, but if you're open-minded, let me just put you in front of some more people and let me give you some more things to think about before you make that move. And so glad you did, because I was going to be pulling, you know, full speed ahead with that decision. And by you putting me in front of the right people and posing the correct questions for me to think about, it altered my decision again, just that quick. And you know, it became evident at that point in time, okay, I think EXP is the correct route that I need to take at this point in time. And again, not anything against Berkshire Hathaway, but the thing I would say that drew me to EXP, number one was, and this is really in no particular order, but I would say the revenue share was one of the things that stood out. And the fact is, most brokerages offer revenue share or profit share, but it's not really, I would say, advertised or pushed. And so it's kind of like an afterthought. It's something that's just kind of sprinkled in, and you know, you hear about it every blue moon. And so I like the idea that EXP pushes that, because it becomes a form of passive revenue, and it's something that a lot of people don't have, and it's life changing to have that passive income like I already have in the form of real estate investing. And so knowing the power in that, you know, if I can just enhance what passive income I already have, then why would I not jump at that opportunity? And if that's something that EXP is pushing and can help me to further that agenda, then I would almost be a fool to not at least seek out the opportunity and see what it has to provide. And then the fact that it's willable was just really, you know, the cherry on top. Where of course everything that I'm doing is not nearly just for myself, but for my family, my sons, more importantly, and then my overall family. Just trying to set us up for some generational wealth that we've never had before.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I mean, most people don't know this, but I think it's like only 18% of all EXP agents actually try to get involved in the revenue share and in passive income. So many just get involved because of the low caps and the low cost, and you know, access to the health insurance and the stock ownership and all these other things that agents don't get at their other companies. But the people that are entrepreneurial minded, like yourself, investors, people that understand passive income and want more of it, and being willable to your kids, you know, 18% of us do. Actually, I think it's 12%. I misquoted. I think it's 12% to actually do it. But anyway, you did see that as one of the opportunities, and I'm really grateful that you took the time, Kevin. You took the time to really let me introduce you to several people. You actually even went to a live event, right, in Maryland, and we set it up so you could be introduced to Leo, our CEO. I think you spent a few minutes with him at the event, and you took the time to really dig into it. A lot of people they watch a video and take an hour and say, you know, it's not for me. But you were curious to know why so many people are, you know, partnering up with EXP. I mean, we've grown since I've been here from 15,000 to almost 90,000 agents in just 5 years. That's unheard of. We're the fastest growing company on the globe. And now people, if they look it up, Inman and Real Trends recently named us the #1 company as far as units, that no other company in the entire US sells more homes than EXP does. Even we're not the biggest yet, we're getting there. We passed Remax already, and we're getting there. But even though we're not the biggest, we actually sell more homes than any other company in the world. They're saying EXP where the pros go to grow. I just applaud you for being open-minded to learn and taking the time and educating yourself, because it is game changer. I was an independent broker owner myself, my partner in New York for a couple of decades, and it was good. But I know a lot of brokers out there kid around saying, yeah, they're called brokers for a reason, because sometimes they're broke because there's so many expenses and liability and cost. And here at EXP, you're able to build your business and your brand and keep your brand, your name, etc., and build on top of that. So revenue share was one of the things that you saw. What were a few other ones that made the decision for you? It was financially a good decision for you to partner with us.
Yeah, quite a few more. So I really like the idea of the stock option, and that was something, upon my due diligence, I'm speaking with other agents, and some of the objection was, well, hey, if you go to this and this brokerage, they offer 100%, and you can just take that money and invest in your own stock. And so understanding that, yes, I invest in stock, but the fact is, life happens, right? I don't know how many times I've had maybe a commission check come in and I'm thinking, okay, good amount of spending money, but then, hey, next day something breaks, or, something occurs where it's like, okay, well, there's that money that's got to go over here. And I may have decided I want to take X% and invest or save or do whatever with it. And that gets altered in a heartbeat. And so meanwhile, while we have every intention on doing well with our money, a lot of time life happens and we have to redirect where that money goes. And what I also know is that you will make do with what you have. And so if there's, if I'm coming to EXP and maybe I have a commission where 5% is going to get pushed into a stock option, it now removes it as an option for me to invest. It's already done. It's automated. And as humans, we like when things are automated and done for us, which is why we are where we are in the world with, things going autonomous. And so, I like that idea of, hey, I don't have to have the discipline. Maybe I'll lack the discipline. Maybe I'll find reason to use that money for other things. But if I'm investing in this stock option, it takes that out of my control. And I know that investment is set in stone, and it's, on cruise control for me.
That's awesome. And you can start it and stop anytime you want, right? If you wanted to stop it, you could, and it's all voluntary. But with that agent equity program that you mentioned, 5%, they give you a 5% discount on any stock that you purchase, right? So you're getting 5% equity in a stock that you purchase through that program. So that's awesome. Appreciate that. What are a few other ones?
Some of the other ones were just the mounds of resources that you showed me, that go hand in hand with executing day-to-day business, and not that other brokerages don't have it, but just it was good to know that I'm moving from a brokerage that has all these resources to another brokerage that has the same, if not more. And it almost looks as though it's a lot more here than what I've been originally exposed to. I love the idea of having access to the NAEA training, which I haven't had the time to dive into yet, still being new and, kind of letting the dust settle on some things. I know you mentioned a sales funnel. Once I'm up and ready, we're going to dive in and let you help me get that sales funnel build. And I know that comes at a cost elsewhere, but you're like, hey, dude, we've got that for you for free. Don't worry about it. You'll keep it ongoing. But we'll help you get that set up at no charge. Also love the upline help, from the mentors, starting with you. And I think you've probably exposed me to 3 or 4 that are above you. And, I love just being on Zoom with these guys, and their first time meeting me, and they're already making me feel like family and saying, "Hey, Kevin, even if you don't come over to EXP, if you need help, if you have questions, take my number down, call me. I'm willing to help you out." And that's tremendous because I know time is money, and if you're not a part of the family, or if you're not in good with certain people, they're not willing to give you their time. But even knowing that now I'm a part of the family, I know that they're eager to help and reaching a hand out whenever I'm ready. And so that's just, it's huge to me. And I would say one of the last things I think about is just the expansion of EXP and it being highlighted and looked at as the Amazon of brokerages. And I know that it's still in its I don't know if I would say infancy, but it's still in a young phase. And so it's like, all right, if I have an opportunity to be a part of something that is going to be huge and it's already reflecting that it's a huge company and it's just growing at this astronomical rate, why not take an opportunity to see what it's about, right? And what I love about real estate, or at least the agent side of things, is you're never chained to any brokerage. So if things don't work out, if I don't feel like this is right for me, it's not like, well, I've got to do 5 years here before I can leave. Like, no, EXP is like, hey, if you're not happy, we're not going to chain you down to this place. We wish you well. And so if it doesn't work out, then hey, I'm free to go. But I wanted to at least, hey, let's just see why everyone's drawn to EXP and all these things that are already pulling me in. It just becomes something that's exciting to be a part of in this phase.
That's a great point, Kevin. That EXP doesn't hold you or your listings hostage if for some reason it isn't a good fit anymore. They, like you just said, they thank you for your service. They love you when you're here, but if it's time to go, they thank you for everything that you've done while you're here. I had an agent that was at another company, I won't mention which one, and he wanted to join with us. They let his broker know he was leaving, and because he wasn't there a full 2 years or whatever the time frame was, he said that he would have to pay him like $3,000. He had to write a check to be able to leave, right? EXP doesn't do that, and that's kind of a should be a telling sign. If you we have an agreement, an independent contract agreement that kind of spells out everybody's responsibilities, etc. And it kind of shares in there all the things that you want to know, like if you built a passive income of 1,000 to 50,000 or whatever per month coming in, and you were to pass away, that, like you said, willable to your kids and to grandkids, whoever you want to will it to, that's in there. So you definitely want to read the ICA. It also states that if you want to leave and you have listings, all you need to do is have the seller sign off on it that they want to be removed and break the agreement, as long as it's not under contract yet, and you can take your listings with you, right, and your leads with you. So we don't hold anything hostage, and I just know a lot of other companies do that, and that's kind of a scarcity mentality, right? And we're all about abundance, and there's more than enough business to go around, and we're here to help. So thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
What are you super excited about? What do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your vision for your business now, knowing a lot of the tools and the systems and the things that you have at EXP? And I know you've only been here for a few months, so you haven't been exposed to everything yet because there's so much value. But what are you excited about in your future?
So anyone that really knows me, close friends, family members that are in tune, they know that I dream big, and I probably put some goals out that just seem far-fetched to some and unrealistic. But I think that that's the way to go, to at least push yourself. And so for myself, in 5 years, I've got some very astronomical goals, and I won't go into specifics, but I would say just overall, I want to I want to be considered all things real estate. And so I know that there's been plenty of times where I've maybe run across someone and I'll ask like, hey, what do you do for a living? And they'll say, I do real estate. And it kind of makes me laugh because I'm like, okay, what about real estate? There's so many different aspects of real estate. Are we talking, are you an agent, an investor, property manager? Like, what is it? And so then it's, oh, okay, I'm a property manager or I'm an agent or whatever it may be. I want to be able to really coincidentally have that same answer, but be immersed in like multiple aspects of real estate to where there's almost nothing that I can be faced with that I can't take on, whether it's someone looking to buy, sell, invest, they're looking for a mentor, they're looking to take a course, they're looking for creative financing, whatever it may be. I want to just be completely immersed in real estate in every aspect of it. And really the ultimate goal is to first see myself in a position of having the passive income enough to where it's sustainable, to where I can look at money as no longer being an object, and at which point I want to then turn and start pouring back into people, and of course starting with friends, family members, and basically just being able to help people to attain these same dreams and goals of being financially free, creating generational wealth. And I know a lot of the time there's plenty of, we'll say courses or people out there that will teach you these things and help guide you, but it's at a cost. And usually that cost is not low. I just spoke with a guy a few days ago, and he is looking for students for investing, and his course is $10,000. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty steep. I didn't expect anything less, but I'm looking to do the same thing at very low or no cost. And so that's just me, and how I see myself as a selfless individual, and knowing that people are struggling out there and they want to do better, they want to do more, and they don't necessarily have the education or the finances to make it to that next level. And if they can just simply have someone who's uh, got the wherewithal and the means of helping them to get there, they be in such a better place. And I feel like that's where I want to see myself, just being in that position to now start lifting other people.
That's awesome. That just goes to show, you're a leader, Kevin, and you're a servant leader, and that's why I think we got drawn to each other. You're going to be just such a great fit in our organization. I'm so excited to see where you continue to grow and the people lives that you'll change, real estate agents and buyers and sellers. That's pretty awesome. I do want to just thank a lot of our listeners, Vinod and Kat, Andy, Rick, Simone, Tammy. If you guys have any questions for Kevin, please just put them in the chat. We'd be glad to answer them before we finish up here. But Kevin, yeah, and definitely share this with your friends. Post it. There's a lot of people thinking about getting into real estate. People that always have dreamed about maybe getting into real estate part-time at first. I was part-time for I worked a lot of hours. It was kind of almost 2 full-time jobs, but for 9 years, right? So you can get in part-time or full-time, but there's a lot of people out there looking for other ways of earning income. And I can tell you, I've been in real estate 33 years. I was at Better Homes Gardens, Century 21, great companies. You were at a couple of companies, you got great companies, but I've never been this net profitable. Even when I was a broker owner, I wasn't this net profitable because of this model. So it's a game changer. If anyone's looking to, think about getting into real estate, or maybe you're happy where you're at, but you're like Kevin, you're open-minded. You're wondering, geez, why is so many people moving over to EXP? And definitely Kevin's phone number's out there. Reach out to him or myself, and we're very glad to have a conversation. And at the very least, we can be referral partners, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate all our listeners and people that can reach out to us for sure. Any other last things that you want to share, Kevin, before we sign off?
Yeah, I do. I love quotes. So I just want to share a quote that I stand by. It's by Warren Buffett.
Okay.
And he says, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until the day you die. And I came across that quote probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And when I say it resonated with me, and it was right around the same time that I was understanding that real estate, it just had so much power, and I had already had a leg in, or a foot in. And so I really took that to heart and just kind of started looking down the line and doing what we usually don't do until we get into our 30s, 40s, where we start considering our future and, hey, what's life going to look like in my retirement years? And so just understanding that that quote, and the fact that, hey, I'm already on track where I've got a couple properties, but if I can be more intentional about it, um, I really don't want to work until the day I die. And so let's really make this an intentional move and do whatever I can along the way to add to this passive income. And then I'm more than sure there isn't a person on this earth that wouldn't want to be in that position of financial freedom. And if I can help people to get there, I don't see anyone that will be turning that help down. And so just something I like to put out, and just mention every so often whenever it coincides with the conversation. And there's a million ways to do it, right? And maybe it's not to say um, get to a point where you're no longer working and just sitting in the house, right? We all want to do things and remain purposeful. But the fact is, I think that we are all in a position in this world where we would love to have that financial freedom, and it would just relieve so much burden off of our shoulders. And hey, I think real estate is a no-brainer, one of the major components that can help you get there. And so a lot of people look at buying a house as, oh, this is my retirement home. If it's their first purchase, they're a lot of time wanting to get everything in that first purchase. But I think just kind of opening that aperture and understanding this is not only a home, but it's an investment. It's a foundation for generational wealth. And so, getting out of that rental and getting yourself into a home ownership is so pivotal. And it's something that, yeah, if you've got the right agent, um, they can make that happen in any market condition. And a little bit of a segue, I get the question all the time: is this a good time to buy? And I say it's always a good time to buy, because you never know what the future consists of. If things may get worse, and then you'll be glad you bought today. And if things get better, you can always refinance. But yeah,
Or buy another one, right? But you're so right. I mean, a lot of people don't know there's multiple ways of earning income in real estate in general. But as real estate agents ourselves, being at other companies out there, the traditional old-fashioned companies, there's your commission. You get paid. You're trading time for money, and you're getting paid on your commissions. That's really the only way. When you stop selling someday, hopefully you've invested in some rentals and you have some rental income like yourself. But what people don't, there's like 8 different ways at EXP that you can earn additional income. So multiple streams of income, and revenue share and stocks on commissions are just 3 of them. And there's several other ones that if anyone's interested, reach out to me and Kevin. We can go into more details. But yeah, I'm 100% agree with what you're saying. Just a couple of things I just thought of I wanted to ask. I know you've only been a couple of months here with us, but how is the collaboration and networking and the support that you receive so far from your partners and the staff members? There's almost, I think, close to 2,000 employees in our EXP cloud office that we get to usually in minutes. How's your experience been?
So far it's been great. I can't complain about any of it. You're always there whenever I call or need something. Very responsive. Beth, she was amazing with onboarding and getting me everything I needed to get set up and situated. And then the staff, I've only had one transaction thus far, and just the back office, the ASAs were just on top of everything. And I mean, even being proactive, reaching out to me about things before it even came to me reaching them. And so, yeah, it's been a good experience thus far.
All right, fantastic. And I think it's only going to get better as you start having more connections, start going to some live events. I mean, people, we're a cloud-based company, yes, but there's live events that you can actually go to every month. And so if you're a face-to-face person, which a lot of our real estate agents are, we have training events and other EXP events that you can get to usually every month. There's something going on. Even the brokers in Florida here, they've been reaching out to us that they're having little mix and mingles and things to get together just for fun, just to get to know more of the agents. I met my personal broker here in Florida, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times. And I don't know, she lives, I'm sure, hours and hours and hours away from me, but we've gotten together at a lot of different occasions. And what's cool is I have her cell phone, I have her email where I can text her and they respond, pretty darn quickly, faster than any other company that I've dealt with. So I've had an awesome experience as well. Well, I really appreciate you, Kevin, for jumping on today and kind of sharing your story. If you're a renter out there thinking of your first home and home ownership, or maybe you have a property too, but because Kevin has shared kind of his story, it's inspired you to maybe I should look at getting buying another investment or a duplex or fourplex like Kevin has done. He's not afraid to buy a house in a different country, so definitely reach out to him and let's see what we can do to help build generational wealth for you, your kids, and your family. And one last thing I just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
For your clients out there, I know you're excited about some of the tools and systems and things that EXP has to offer to help more exposure, to help your sellers have more exposure and buyers have more tools. Do you want to just mention just a thing or two that you're excited about? How you didn't only move over to EXP for yourself and help you and your family, but I know being a selfless person, and a lot of it's about your clients. Share a few things that you're excited about there, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the fact that it's a brand that some people are hearing, and it's like taking the world by storm, right? And so when I do mention that, hey, yeah, I just moved over to EXP, they're like, oh yeah, I keep hearing EXP. Like, I've heard it. I've got a few friends over in Germany, and they're like, oh yeah, EXP is over here. And they're like, I'm thinking about joining here in Germany. And so, it's good to know that the brand is being just really spread like wildfire, and to be a part of it. And, they already feel comfortable. And I know a lot of people are not necessarily concerned about what brokerage you're with. It's more about the agent, but that brokerage and its history, it does mean something, right? When you hear the big names, the Century 21s, the Keller Williams, it makes people feel comfortable and put them at ease. And so I love the fact that EXP is gaining this exposure. And so it helps to put them at ease. And I do mention, like, I have a client who's going to be having a listing going live in about 2 to 3 weeks. She asked specifically about an exclusive listing. And I know that we do have option to, hey, we can put this in a system to where it's not in the MLS, but it's just, going to be disclosed to all our agents across EXP. And she's kind of interested in that, and just good to know that we have that option for her. And so, there's still so much more that I don't know that we have. Just based on what you tell me. And I'm mind blown by how much you've already told me. And you're like, Kevin, you still maybe know 30 to 40% of what we have to offer. And I'm just like, oh gosh, it keeps getting better. And so I think I'm definitely in good hands. I know the clients are in good hands. And so, just eager to just really take it all in and just, do what I can with it and try not to get overwhelmed with it. Right.
Right. Well, some people, because there is so many benefits and there's so much training and things at your fingertips, some agents do get overwhelmed. I tell them, change that feeling to an excitement feeling that no matter what you need, no matter what level that you're at and what level that you want to get to. We have business partners doing 1,500 and more transactions with your teams. So whatever level that you're at, whatever you need to get you to where you want to go, it's right here at your fingertips, and you just got to reach out to your sponsor or other people in your organization to find out, okay, where do I get it? And they're gonna walk you through it and make that happen. So and yeah, the EXP exclusives that you're talking about, that is really a cool thing. I don't know of any other company that has that, because it's kind of like the rule that you have to put properties into MLS as soon as they are ready to come on the market. But you can, if you're you can share it with your internal agents within your company that's owned by that same owner. So if an owner owned 2-3 different, Remaxes or KWs or whatever, they can share them with those 2 or 3 offices before it goes live through MLS. But because we're one company owned by one owner, Glenn Sanford, and us agents, we can share with our entire 90,000 agents. And that's a big deal, especially if it's, a high profile type person and they're really private and they want to get their house sold, but they don't want it to go on MLS, the local listing service where everybody knows about it. Or they want to, maybe, they want 3 or 4 weeks or even months to be able to get their house ready. We can put it through our EXP exclusives and get it out to everybody, and maybe even have 2 or 3 people interested and putting an offer on it when the clients are ready before it even hits the regular markets. That's kind of a cool option that we have. But thanks again for everyone for your comments. Kat, thanks again. Appreciate all you guys. Andy, who's made comments. And my last question, promise last. We got to get going. If you're a reader, what's your favorite book you like to recommend to our listeners, or movie watcher? What movie would you like to recommend to our listeners, Kevin?
I'm an old school guy. Coming to America is my favorite movie. That's my favorite all time. You don't want to watch it with me, I'll quote it from beginning to end. And then books, I'd have to go with Rich Dad Poor Dad. That got me set and locked in on real estate and just passive investing. And that was a book that it opened my eyes like no other. And I became a different person after I read that book.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a classic. Having the 4 different quadrants and which side do you want to be on, right? You want to be on the owner side, the investor side. So thanks again, Kevin. I'm super excited to be in business with you. I can't wait to see how your business continues to flourish, and the people that you're going to be able to help, buyers and sellers, clients, and real estate agents, because you're a true giver, and I'm just happy to be in business with you. Thanks for trusting me and being open-minded to do your due diligence. And I know you did quite a bit of it, and I'm proud of you for doing that. And I think your kids are going to be glad that you did too, as well, with how everything can be willable to them at some point. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us, Financial Freedom Forever podcast, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Andre.
All right. Bye, Kevin. Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
What I love most about our group, the alignment, the fact that I am aligned with some of the top producers in the world and can pick their brain any second of the day, has been absolutely incredible for my business and has taken it to the next level. And I have to account it to alignment.
My favorite thing about the FFF group is just being surrounded by people with the same mentality as us that are striving for something better and building a better long-term plan for themselves.
My favorite part is the support. I can't tell you how many top producers have just kind of dropped what they're doing and supported us in a big way when we've had any kind of curveballs or compliance issues or any kind of new experience. Everyone within our group is just willing to give, and that's probably the best part about our Financial Freedom Group.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10 to 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below and let's have a conversation.